that mean we're live? He thinks.
Oh my goodness. Hello. Are we live? Looking at this?
We have no sense of chat room, so I don't know if anyone can see us or hear us.
I know how to do that.
Oh, that would be great. If we are live, hi everybody. Welcome to the OneRing.net Torn Tuesday. I'm Chelsea. I've been gone for a while. I'm back. Huzzah! And this is Cliff buttoning his shirt.
Good morning. Hello, Chelsea. Welcome back to this lively edition, our year-end edition of Torn Tuesday.
Oh yes, it's to the end of the year. I have to get ready.
Okay, yes. I've got my New Year's hat. I've got my New Year's balloon. It's already...
Got a bow now.
It's already the new year that happened in London. How adorable. You look adorable. All ready for Auld Lang Syne and all the festivities.
Yes, some of you are watching from the future. Weird.
Let's do something.
How was 2020? Is it better than 2019?
Yeah, we're asking our friends in London. Let's do this. Let's do this, shall we?
What exactly are we doing?
This is a Twitter photo, right? Shall we do a Twitter photo?
Sure.
Oh, wait, that's not the button, is it? You know what? Every time I think that iPhone camera buttons share the same interface with the Twitter app, they do not. In fact, now you're talking. Hey. There we go. Awesome sauce.
All right.
Oh my God, I look ridiculous. All right, that's hilarious. So, hey, welcome. Torn Tuesday. Lovely to have Chelsea joining me again for the, all caps, final edition of our live show at the end of 2019. Do you believe that? I actually just dictated live on the air. It's the one thing that Justin hates the most.
It looks like we went to Twitch. That's all I'm seeing so far.
We're on Twitch? Maybe we're on YouTube or Facebook, hopefully.
I'm checking Facebook.
Chelsea joining me again for the final edition of our live show at the end of 2019.
You'll have to bear with us. Justin isn't here today. We're figuring things out on our own. Oh, we are on Facebook, so we've at least got that.
We are.
All right. So we are live. People can see us, but I don't have any way of seeing your comments, which makes me feel very vulnerable right now.
There is a hotline. 530-64-FRODO. That's right. For
text
Frodo.
us. And we'll see your text, and we can at least respond to that. It's not as fast as your comments in a chat room, but, you know, it's something. Anyway, Happy New Year.
Hello, lovely to have you. I'm tweeting all this. For the final edition, for the final, I guess I should say final year end. That's what you call it.
Sure.
For the year end edition.
Well, I'll start things off. 2019 has been an absolutely horrendous year for me personally. But in terms of content and things that have come out in nerd culture, it has been rich with so many delightful things to talk about, including our Tolkien film that came and went so quietly in the night.
Indeed, it did. It was quite a big year for Tolkien fans and for fantasy fans in general, science fiction fans. You didn't fare too poorly either, did you? And as we say goodbye to 2019, and I send that tweet out into the universe, we welcome you all into the show. Hello, Chelsea. It is so lovely to have you back. Bam.
Woo woo.
Been several months since Chelsea has come back to join us. And
yes, I've been away on an adventure.
Quite an adventure, haven't you? You've been working. My name is Clifford Broadway. Hello. It's nice to have everyone here live streaming with us at theonering.net. We are live on Facebook and on Twitch, and we might even be live on YouTube if we're lucky. So if you want to come in, join us at Facebook. We can see you there. We can chat with you. There's also a hotline. Maybe it is floating above us. It might not be. I don't know if we have lower thirds or the graphic.
It does not look like we do.
It looks like the hotline number is worth repeating. 530, number 6, number 4, FRODO. One more time, 530.
That was so dramatic.
Number
and
6, number 4.
On the edge of my seat, waiting for that next number.
FRODO. For Frodo. And then you can text, you can send a message to me. You can send a message to me right here. You can even call in live on the show if you'd like. And so, it is time to recap the best of 2019 and the worst, maybe, if you want to get down to the raspberries of the year. And you know what's even more fun?
What's more fun?
The decade in review.
Decade in review. I was
all
not
the
prepared
s-
for a full decade of
Oh my God. But do you know all the stuff that we had happen
Oh,
for Tolkien
so
fans?
many things happened in this last decade.
So much. So good. So
I,
good.
I also, for those that are watching on Facebook, I've opened the Facebook chat, so at least I can see the comments there. So I'll keep looking down occasionally to see what you guys are saying.
Indeed. Here, I'm opening up my there's another thing I need to open up in my mail, my Gmail, and I want to take a quick look. You guys, the top things that happened throughout the year for most of us who are deep into fandom, we love our Star Wars fandom. We've had a lot to appreciate for Star Wars fans.
There's a lot this year.
A lot for Tolkien fandom. There has been hell of a lot of great stuff, eye-opening news, new movies, new publications. I can't believe it. Can you believe it? I can't believe
And
it.
all of the casting news coming for the new Amazon series that we've gotten. I actually got my first casting listing sent in my inbox for the Amazon Lord of the Rings series, and I don't qualify for any category they're looking for, and it broke my heart a little bit.
Really?
They want people 4'8" and shorter, not me. They want people.
You're not shorter than 4'8"?
No, I'm 5'3". I was like,
Oh
they
my
want
God.
people 6'5" and taller. Also not me.
6'5".
They
Well,
want they want character faces with lots of wrinkles and missing teeth and just like age showing and stuff. Yep, not me.
That is so not me either.
They want people with lots of hair, like beards or chest hair, long hair, but they want silver hair or red hair, and I don't have those things either. And they want it to be natural. So I just looked at it and was like, well, guess I'm not working on the new Lord of the Rings series.
Really? Like, no? That's too crazy. I thought that you'd be like perfect, like, Hobbit-sized person.
Right? But I'm just a little
You
too
really
tall. Little too tall. It's all right though.
So
There'll be some other amazing fantasy series for me, like The Witcher. Or maybe I can be a voice in Dark Crystal.
oh, hell no. That would be, oh my gosh. Yes, being a voice or a performer for the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance.
Have they confirmed if we're getting a season 2 or not for that? Has there been any word on that?
No yet. None, not a single word yet. The Witcher, which everybody knows I'm publicly complaining about, The Witcher
Which I
got
loved.
renewed for 2-3 seasons.
3 seasons? I only knew about the second one so
And,
far.
I mean, it got renewed for a second season, I'm mistaken, before the first one even aired. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Take a look at this. The top 10 biggest moments that happened in the decade for Lord of the Rings fans, Hobbit, J.R.R. Tolkien fans.
Drum roll, please. Number 10.
Such a big year for all of us. Okay. Going way, way, way back in time, okay, we had the biggest news that the Hobbit films were actually going to happen, and Guillermo del Toro was attached to direct. That was one of the biggest news items of the early decade, going into what we call the teens. This past decade, which is about to finish, going into that, I mean, that was big.
We're getting out of our teenage years. That's what's happening.
To think that...
Ooh, the volume is very low. I don't know if JC is around to help with that.
Maybe. How about we had to brace ourselves for going back into Middle-earth, and it was not going to be Peter Jackson. That's why that was such one of the biggest news items of the decade. And the interviews that I had with Guillermo del Toro early on, before he went down to New Zealand, when things were still bright and exciting and shiny and filled with optimism, right? My gosh. Okay, that was really something.
Also, I want to share with you, we've got people in Italy watching, already celebrating the new year with us, and some people in Michigan, and we're getting all sorts of questions of people that are asking things like, what are your favorite films of the decade? We'll start going into those personal things after we get through our top 10 list.
I'll tell you for sure. Oh my gosh, my favorite films, lots of favorite films to talk about. But at San Diego Comic-Con in 2010, literally 2010, that was when we first started making the most noise as fandom, communicating our desire to have Martin Freeman be cast as Bilbo. We started making a lot of noise about that. And who knew that it would actually come true? I mean, it was always James McAvoy, or to be Bilbo, it was either going to be Martin Freeman or Mr. McAvoy. And at 2010, at our Torn panel, literally at the OneRing.net panel presentation at Comic-Con. We demanded Martin Freeman as Bilbo, and then we got it. We actually got it. Later on, a little bit later on in the decade, what else happened? They turned a 2-film project into 3. That was another year later, another year into the decade. That was when most of our minds were blown, yet again, by the loss of Guillermo del Toro, with him saying, and you know what, there was a weird press release that he was approaching Disney to do Haunted Mansion movie. Remember that? He
Yes,
was
which might have come out better than the Haunted Mansion movie that did end up coming out.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh, what's that?
I didn't say that.
What's that? What? Oh, did you just hear that? Ooh, bam. I tell you what, it wasn't. No, even Terrence Stamp could not save that live-action Haunted Mansion movie. But Guillermo del Toro went off and did Pacific Rim. He went off to do all these other movies and projects that had been waiting and waiting. He left New Zealand, and his heart was broken, and everything in our world changed, and it became a whole different story. And then Peter Jackson leaked the news to us on the press carpet. Justin and I were interviewing him, and he said, yeah, well, maybe 2 Hobbit films might actually become 3. You know, Peter was trying to be coy about it. Remember that? Okay, next. Big dude, if you guys are just joining us, welcome to the OneRing.net. We're going through our top 10 biggest Tolkien moments of the decade for the Tolkien fandom. The Fall of Gondolin was actually published posthumously, one of the most powerful, searing tragedies in the history of the Silmarillion and the annals of the First Age. There it was, Christopher Tolkien saying, here you go, kids. Surprise, there's more. Then he retired. That was the next bombshell. That was the bomb.
Mic drop. That's what he did.
He did. No, we didn't know that. He's been the guardian of the gate the whole time, for decades and decades and decades.
I know.
And then we didn't know what to think. For a moment, we were a little bit scared. I was a little scared, okay? What's going to happen now? Who's taking over the family interests? Who's taking over as overseer of the Tolkien estate? What's going to happen? You know, he has such a literary legacy. Christopher Tolkien retired, and that was when people started getting around to making new deals, new licensing deals, new toys, right? All the new merchandise was coming out. Not enough toys. Wait, not enough Tolkien toys?
Not enough.
There's never enough
What?
Tolkien toys.
Never enough.
Never enough Lord of the Rings
All
toys.
the toys.
Okay, all the toys. For real? Okay,
Yeah.
that might be
I
hilarious.
mean, when was the last time besides the board games, we got really a toy out of anything?
Then it happened. I mean,
I feel like every bullet point he's read, it was, and then it happened.
And then it happened. Okay. The Hobbitception was a funny thing that happened before The Hobbit was released.
Right.
That was our friends, Kelly and Alex, who were, you know, doing this really wonderful thing, doing our little Happy Hobbit videos. And believe it or not, they were watching a video of the first trailer released of the Hobbit trilogy, and then that trailer reaction video of them screaming and freaking out ended up being played for Orlando Bloom and Evangeline Lilly down, and of course Lee Pace. And so we have a video of the cast responding with a little bit of embarrassed laughter, or maybe a lot of joyful laughter, if not a little tinge of, oh my God, what's that? What's really going on? Yes, and it was so funny. Like then the next thing happened. Okay, at the end of the road, the Hobbit movies came out. Some of us were elated. Some of us were disappointed. Elated. There's a shout from elated. A fair number of us were in the middle of that road. In the middle of that road, somewhere with the reception of the Hobbit, and then Amazon said, "Boom! Here's $500 million." To make a new Lord of the Rings TV series. And that became late in the decade. And you guys have heard us for a couple of years now talking about this. But here we are, late in the decade, moving forward. There's more and more and more for our fandom.
Yay.
Even more. Everyone's like, was it a quiet year for you guys as fans? No, it was not a quiet year. It was not a quiet decade. Everything that happened was huge. Especially now, we're at a point of no return where we can never ever go back to the way things were before. Christopher Tolkien will no longer be protecting his father's legacy. The grandkids, Simon Tolkien, and the grandkids who have this interest now in making that paper, they're signing these deals, and we got Amazon now in production. And you know what, Justin?
You know what? Amazon's doing a great job with a lot of their original series. Like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is fantastic.
I love that show.
The show's so good.
That's
I
a
just
really
got
good show.
through both seasons of Fleabag. That's another phenomenal comedy that they have on there. A lot of the production quality in their dramas is they're taking their time. They're not rushing things out, and it makes me very excited to see what's going to happen.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm excited too to see what is going to happen, but I feel like I'm still sort of stumbling in the dark. You know what I mean? Like, where's the all right? Where's the outreach to the fan community, and where are those people who are going to come to us and you know, help us get interviews, and where are those folks at Amazon Studios who want to reach out to the fan community? And
They do.
and where are they? Where are they? Do they
They've-
want to reach out?
They've reached
to
out
us?
to me.
Huh?
They've reached out to me a few times.
Oh, that's really?
Yeah.
Well, that's lovely.
And they've also, for Carnival Row, which was their big dive into fantasy this year, they empowered a whole set of influencers and did photo shoots and creative activations with them and stuff like that to spread the word for Carnival Row. You know they'll use the power of community when they're ready. They're just not ready for Lord of the Rings yet.
Maybe Clifford here needs to learn patience. Maybe I need to learn.
This seems to be the theme of the week for Cliff. Power of the pause button. I've watched one episode of The Witcher. I don't understand.
Oh, no. I gave The Witcher 3 episodes.
I know,
and
I
was
know.
like, what is this stuff going on here? What? Okay, I'll eventually get to the end of season 1, and I'm sure I'll have a different opinion. But hey, we've had lots and lots of big moments for the past decade. So we say farewell to the teens. It was seismic. For Tolkien fans, it was a crazy decade.
Yes.
It was seismic.
Not to mention all the things that we've done in the OneRing.net community, from our picnics and our Comic-Con parties and whatnot. And we've met so many amazing people along the way. We've connected larger and larger bits of this community. It's great. It's a great time to be a ringer, you know?
Yes. Also, our 20th anniversary.
Yes.
Our little humble website, which is an all-volunteer organization just for fans to gather around the campfire and enjoy stories of ancient tales of Middle-earth. And we all love Tolkien's scholarship. We're very intrigued by the way Tolkien gets picked up by other artists and producers and directors and gets re-envisioned. That's always fascinating. The world of gaming has been explosively successful.
Oh my God!
Let me
Especially
give a
like
nod.
tabletop gaming just blew up. It's the golden age of tabletop.
It is the golden age. Yeah, in this decade, what has happened? Tabletop gaming and like general geekdom have become much, much more mainstream.
They've become mainstream. Period.
At Target, things
Yeah.
like Settlers of Catan
Yeah.
that you would only ever see at a gamers convention is now at the bloody Target. That's how mainstream our geekdom has become. Now, in the Lord of the Rings realm, there have been the very impressive and popular video games, the video games that didn't even stop. You're like, oh, how many years away are we from those Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings films? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There was War in the
Doesn't matter.
North, which was great. Then there was Shadow of Mordor,
Yes.
which everyone went nuts over. I mean, oh my God, Twitter blew up over like that engine that creates villains based on their early interactions with your villains in the game, and then they change and modify late third act of the game and how they respond to you later. Those orcs remember you, and they remember what trouble you caused them. And like when you're playing Shadow of Mordor, it was crazy.
I want to say that there's interesting comments going on. A lot of people liking The Witcher or liking Carnival Row, but somebody also just said that they work for a Comic-Con company in England, and they'd love to see the OneRing.net at their London event in July. And
Hello.
I would love to go to London.
I would love to. Hey, you know, July is actually the time of year to go to England. That is the time
Honestly, I go to England at any point of the years. I've been hundreds of times. There's not a bad time, in my point of view, to go to
of year.
London.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, enjoy that sweater weather, though. I mean,
I like it cold. I do. Look at me. I'm like practically the last 3 days I've been wearing a tank top in Los Angeles while everyone else is wearing their Uggs and they're bundled up. And I'm like, this feels nice right now.
Well, today in Los Angeles, it was a blistering 70 degrees, while the rest of the country is
so cold
underneath some insane snowdrift going on. And here we are, see, and JC's, taking his clothes off, getting ready for beach weather. There was a lot of people at Santa Monica Beach today. It was a sunshiny, beautiful beach day here in Southern California. We are awfully spoiled. We really, really are. Okay, now that we've covered up like a cat box, we've kind of covered up some of the past decade. That's funny. I do want to give a special shout out to Fox Searchlight and to Dome Korakowski.
Yes.
For one of the biggest things of the year that happened to us.
Yes.
I mean, focusing not on the whole decade, but just on 2019, here was the life story, or perhaps a memory book, a pastiche of memory of Professor Tolkien's life story.
And it was such a beautifully told story. And I really do feel like it was released at the wrong time of year, and especially right after the merger, it just got lost in the shuffle, and everyone kind of forgot that it came out and existed. But beautiful story.
It was beautiful, and it was an elegant and poetic, what I call like a memory box.
And not to mention, you got some amazing opportunities of going to New Mexico when it came out, and you got to host a Q&A at WonderCon before the film came out.
Well,
and
yes,
we
that's
got to go to the premiere together and do interviews on the green carpet.
That was awesome. That green carpet was fun.
Yeah.
So because Mr. Stephen Colbert was unavailable, he was doing the launch audience Q&A on the East Coast. And for all the launches that they had on the West Coast, Fox Searchlight was very, very kind to ask the OneRing.net and myself for me to come through and moderate the big events. And you and I got the chance to chit-chat with the coolest people as we were interviewing them. But, I mean, you have a great career of doing interviews with people, like on the spot, with the most spontaneous and fun interviews that you do. And there we are, dragged in this mess together. That was glorious. That was a moment. That was a highlight
awesome.
for me.
It's definitely one of my favorite memories of the entire year.
Wasn't it great? Yeah. And then Mr.
Not to mention, you looked fantastic in that Bilbo robe.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That was lovely. I love that Bilbo.
And we got to talk to George R.R. Martin on that carpet, which honestly, the success of Game of Thrones has paved the way for all of these fantasy series that we've been gifted this year and will continue to be gifted for a few years, because every network is buying up fantasy right now.
Let's take a look at what 2019 gave us in terms of fantasy. Of the beautiful highlights that Tolkien fans have been really enjoying. And one last mention in tabletop gaming before we move on to other TV shows. Thank you to Fantasy Flight Games for Journeys in Middle-earth. Hello.
Oh, Fantasy Flight has taken the Lord of the Rings branding for gaming to new levels in general. Fantasy Flight does really well with their IPs.
I can't wait. I mean, I've taught all my friends how to play.
Somebody's watching from Costa Rica. We are just all over today.
Hey, Costa Rica. Thank you for Journeys in Middle-earth. If you ever bother to pick up a $100 very expensive Lord of the Rings RPG game,
get that one.
That's the one for you. And now, to 2019 and the elements of fantasy.
Yes. So what were your fantasy TV show highlights, TV series highlights of
We
this year?
got such a spoonful of great. All right, there was greatness, and there was middle-of-the-road greatness. I mean, we had Stranger Things Season 3. Okay.
True.
We had fascinating. One of the most fascinating things that Black Mirror has done, and I consider Black Mirror genre in the camp of science fiction and fantasy, but it's hard tech stuff. But Black Mirror gave us Bandersnatch. For the first time, you got to use technology from the old school paperback books of build your own adventure and choose different pathways.
I love Choose Your Own Adventure so much.
But do you remember?
I don't do Black Mirror, but I remember everybody going crazy about it, yes.
Did you get to try it?
I didn't want to. I stay away from Black Mirror.
Okay, it was so amazing, though, because Will Poulter was the lead. He was the lead actor. He was a computer programmer in the early 80s, doing these really goofy retro, 8-bit and 16-bit video games that they were programming. It was part of the story. And as you started to play the game of Bandersnatch while watching the movie Bandersnatch, you got to make different choices that changed the outcome of what the heroes and villains on screen were doing. So cool. Thank you for that. Awesome. That was a highlight. That was a big highlight. Then
we also, HBO, besides the final season of Game of Thrones, whether it was disappointing or not.
Hello, season 8 of Game of Thrones happened this year, too.
Yes, that was this year. But
Oh.
then they ventured into His Dark Materials at the end of the year, giving us more fantasy.
Oh, my gosh. Mr. Pullman, thank you. He's also an Oxford writer. He lives a couple of blocks down from where J.R.R. Tolkien used to live. Literally. Like, that guy who writes The Golden Compass and His Dark Materials, The Amber Spyglass, all that good stuff, he actually writes with loving detail about the weird yellow glowing fluorescent lamps that go up and down the pathways of Oxford town and in the mist. And anybody who lives in Oxford or has been there, and you've been there, you know that Mr. Pullman writes an exceptional version of Oxford in his stories. I love it. So the connection to Tolkien is very much there. Then what else happened? One of the biggest... All right, there was some really cool stuff. There was an extra season of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. There was some really great animation that came out.
And we got Carnival Row on Amazon.
And we got Carnival Row with Orlando Bloom. Great highlight. Then, I'm building up to this.
I know, I've been waiting for
it. You're waiting for it.
Wait, hold on.
You waiting for it? Yes, look at that.
Give me your essence.
The purple crystal is now drawing my essence. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, okay. I know that you all have heard the Song of Thra. I have heard the Song of Thra, and it has moved my very soul. And it has opened up my third eye. My 7th chakra has been opened. Guess what? The Dark Crystal came back to us after, 37 years.
Yep, because it came out the year I was born. Speaking of the Dark Crystal,
are you dating yourself now?
I've dated
1982?
myself. I was born in 82.
Oh my God.
Speaking of, I have a belated Christmas gift for you that you should open.
Oh, there's a Christmas gift. No way. I love it. I love you.
Dig
You're
in
awesome.
right now. Seriously.
Really? Okay.
It's perfect timing.
I have to say this. Jim Henson Company took the biggest gamble 37 years ago, and then Netflix threw a bunch of money at them to do it again, and the gamble paid off. The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance is the
I completely agree.
Like, satisfying, yes.
I saw a Dark Crystal when I was a kid. I was terrified of it. And I was like, maybe I'll appreciate it more now that I'm in my 30s. And I was looking forward to the series and the practical effects and the puppetry. And all of that was fantastic. Oh my God. And then you didn't like Dark Crystal? Is that what's happening over here? So you haven't watched this new series? I hated the movie as a child, and I still decided to watch the series to give it a shot, and I actually gained a lot more love for Dark Crystal. It's a great story. The Skeksis are still creepy, though, and they give me anxiety. I had to pause several times and take a break from the show because the Skeksis freaked me out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're really freaky. It's the freakiest thing. This is great. Thank you.
Open it.
Oh, my gosh.
I was talking so you could open it while we're...
gosh. Ready Player One? I thought this was a Ready Player One gift.
No, it's not. It's just a Ready Player One bag because I had it laying around. But inside is something... I think we're going to see the Mexican jumping bean come out.
Oh, my gosh. No way. All this gift wrapping and hiding in the beautiful gift wrapping is a... oh, no!
Jumping bean.
This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. I did not get this for myself because I was afraid if I bought this for myself, I'd end up with 3 copies after Christmas. This is so beautiful. This, you guys, is the production mega art book. It's the book of the Return to Thra that includes all of their production artwork, their behind the scenes, the Brian Froud and his son, Toby Froud.
Yep.
All the wonderful artwork that they did.
Toby, who was the baby Toby in Labyrinth.
He was the babe with the power.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Thank you.
You should take it out of the wrap and look through some of the gorgeous art.
This is awesome.
It's a wonderful coffee table book from Insight Editions that they put out. That's all about Age of Resistance, the Netflix series. I saw it immediately, thought
So
of Cliff.
awesome.
I was like, I have to give this to you on
All right.
air for how much we've talked about Dark Crystal.
Too good. Too good. This is so good. It's too lovely. This is super lovely. But now let's talk about this with our fans. We've got you. We're chatting with you guys live. We can see you live on Facebook with us. Let's talk about the year end and what you thought was the best. We had a brand new Star Wars television show.
Oh, The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian.
Yes.
We had the new Dark Crystal television show, The Age of Resistance. Two of the very, very best things that have come along. Then there was HBO's new version of Watchmen.
Yes, which a lot of people in the chat are already talking about. Like,
Yes,
mention Watchmen.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes, guys. Hey, I'm with you. I'm a big, big, big fan of Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, the original graphic novel. One of the most mind-blowing experiences I've ever had reading a comic book. And I mean it in a more literal way, because there's something so deeply, deeply disturbing and amazing and eye-opening about Watchmen. And this new version of it is taking no prisoners. They're really kicking some ass. Really kicking some ass with that. It's so good. But the Dark Crystal also happened. Okay, I can't even tell you how excited I am. All right, we didn't get another Westworld.
We didn't get Westworld, but it's coming. It's okay.
Coming. Okay, but we got The Witcher.
We did get The Witcher.
All right.
I love The Witcher. If you haven't started it yet, it follows 3 timelines. One that's in the past, one that's in the future, one that's kind of present.
See, I didn't know this. I watched 3 episodes. Okay, you guys saw me complaining on Facebook. I was 3 episodes into The Witcher, and I was like, where's the villain? Where's the plot?
It's not
What's
your
going
normal.
on?
It's not your normal.
What's going on?
Run-of-the-mill series. You know, it's a little outside the box. It's a little slow to get into, but it's got everything I love about fantasy. It's got magic. It's even got like. Cliff hasn't gotten there yet, but there's like a Darth Vader force choke moment that like even happens, kind of witchcraft power. There's elves, there's humans, there's witchers, there's giant spiders, because why do we have to have a giant 8-foot spider in every fantasy
For
series?
every arachnophobe in the world. For every arachnophobe in the universe.
But it's great, and I very much liked it. I watched it all in like 2 days. I even went to the premiere for it here in LA, and that was a lot of fun.
That's amazing. See,
I had a bard sing me a song about my life at the premiere. It was great.
You did? Oh,
I did.
All right, I dig the Bard character. He's really fun. And to all my friends back in high school who are saying, how could you complain, Clifford? The show has a Bard. Hello? Why complain about any...
Toss a coin to your witcher.
What is it? Toss a coin to your witcher, you people of plenty. Whatever, it's something like that. Anyways, that's really a good, that's going to be something I will enjoy finishing season 1. My boyfriend is forcing me to watch all of it in a row. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, you've seen all this before? And he's like, yeah, I don't mind seeing it again. Yeah. Really?
Awesome.
Really? Okay, that's nice. That's nice to share
That is great.
a TV show. This book is gorgeous. If you guys have ever gotten one of those, the artwork and production behind Lord of the Rings movies, like the one that our friend Kelly Rice co-wrote with Daniel Falconer, and it was called From Page to Screen, The Journey for the Lord of the Rings film production. And this book includes some, oh, it smells so good.
It smells so good.
Do you smell, you know that smell of a really beautiful photography book? Oh, look at all the performers. Look at all the performers. Hey, you know what? I made friends with Victor Yared, who plays Hup the Paladin. And I went to go see him perform at a live action show here in Los Angeles about a month ago. And guess what? He is eager to come onto our show for an interview. Yes, it's true.
That's so exciting.
So
I want that to happen like now.
I know. In 2020, stay tuned right here to theonering.net. We're going to have some of the Muppet performers from the Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance. We'll be talking about the journey of Frodo in comparison to the journey of Jen, the great archetypes that appear in the biggest fantasy storytelling, and the most interesting archetypes of Lord of the Rings familiar characters and tropes.
But you know what's really more
that are now in this series, like the way Aughra is behaving,
Absolutely.
is more like Gandalf than Gandalf
Yes,
would behave.
absolutely.
Have you noticed?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'm not alone.
And I'm also just really excited about the use of practical effects and puppetry here.
Yes.
And also in The Mandalorian.
The practical effects of Baby Yoda.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that Amazon takes note of this for the Lord of the Rings series, because I'd love to see more of these people with this amazing skill set getting more work out of it.
Would you say if Amazon should pay attention to one very big, successful fantasy that has appeared in the past year, should they pay attention to Carnival Row? Should they pay attention to The Witcher or to The Dark Crystal?
Dark Crystal.
For modeling a successful series and relaunching a beloved franchise.
Especially because Dark Crystal takes place before the film that we love. And that's what's going to happen with the series. For people that haven't read the books, that only know the movies, this is now a series that's going to take place beforehand. And it's such a perfect dedication to the film in this.
Wow.
It's such a great new story, and really you get invested in Rianne and everybody else. I think they absolutely should be paying attention to Dark Crystal.
Yes, I agree. Because there is a certain way to handle something that is so beloved and entrenched in our geek culture from the past. And if you're going to breathe life into it and try to bring it back to the audiences again, you have to, as they say, handle with care. Hashtag fidelity to Tolkien. Let's get that hashtag rolling again. For 2020, I really am going to push the hell out of that hashtag. Fidelity to Tolkien. Thank you.
Absolutely.
This was the success of fidelity to Jim Henson. And this is the reason why this stuff is so gorgeous. Look at this. Look at what they created. Oh, my God. Excuse me. I'll let Chelsea do the show.
He's going to go read his book for a while now.
Pardon me. Pardon me.
Here's something that, so if you haven't seen me on the show before, if you've never known who I was, I'm Chelsea. If you have watched the show, you know that I own a publication called High Voltage. You know that I have a nerdy Instagram account that I run with my friend Tiffany called Sprinkled by Magic. We used to be Disney Observer, but we changed our name recently. And so I do a lot of nerdy things, and I have another podcast, the High Voltage Radio Hour, and we just did our own best and worst of 2019.
Okay, cool.
And I have deemed 2019 the year of Taron Egerton.
The year of Taron Egerton?
Yes.
Sure, man. He was Elton John. Why not?
Well, so Taron Egerton is Rianne in Dark Crystal.
Rianne of the Stonewood clan.
Yes.
Yes.
He is a voice in Dark Crystal. He also is Elton John in Rocket Man. If you didn't know him before this year, you probably saw him in Kingsman movies as Eggsy. And are you showing Rianne? Is that what's happening?
It's Hup.
Oh, it's Hup. Oh, Hup's adorable.
We're gonna interview Hup.
We're gonna interview Hup. I'm excited.
We're gonna interview Hup right here.
But it brings me to my point of, I think this is the year that Taron is going to be a force to be reckoned with. He can do voiceover, he can sing, he can dance, he can act. If you didn't see Rocket Man, he sang every song in that movie, including the songs you don't see him actually perform. And you just hear a snippet of it in the background. He went into the recording studio and recorded over 20 Elton John songs full length,
with his own wonderful voice.
With his own wonderful voice. So this is why I think he's made a statement. He's landed. We're going to see a lot more from him, and I can't wait to see what projects Taron gets into next. Not to mention, there's a new Kingsman movie next year.
Oh, I love Kingsman. Yeah. Here he is.
There's Rianne. And in honor, besides my Dark Crystal, I also have a little Elton John Rocket Man pin on today, because it is the year of Taron Egerton.
It's the year of Elton John's therapy session.
Which is also, yes. Which Rocket Man was my favorite film of 2019, with Avengers Endgame coming in right after it.
This is so awesome. Oh my gosh, the detail that they put into this world, how they build these creatures in the creature workshop.
Somebody just said, is Taron also Robin Hood? Yes, he was in Robin Hood, the film that came out the end of last year as well.
Oh, that from last year?
Yep.
The one that nobody watched.
But I watched it on HBO recently and was floored by it. I was like, this definitely it came out at a bad moment and nobody paid attention.
Yeah.
For me, I think it came out around the same weekend as Bohemian Rhapsody, and Bohemian Rhapsody trumped everything for me for a while.
Yeah.
But he was good as Robin Hood.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, indeed. Okay, now here we go. This is the one everyone missed. I'll have to check that out. We have had also a change in the world of streaming services that brought us much of the content that we have been talking about on today's show.
Yes.
Talking about all the glorious things of the past 10 years.
Because we've got Netflix, we have Amazon, we have Hulu, and then Disney bought Fox, so they own the majority share of Hulu. So Hulu's programming and Fox's programming are getting altered, where the Orville was a Fox show and now it's a Hulu show. Things like that.
That's right. See, now I was watching Hulu for mostly getting my Seth MacFarlane fix.
Yep.
To see Family Guy and American Dad and those fun. I love Roger. Roger the Alien is one of the best characters in Seth MacFarlane's vast imaginative world. Love Roger and his crazy drag costume. It's just the funniest thing. I can't. I love it. But Hulu dropped off. I knew Disney Plus was coming, so I stopped my membership to Hulu Plus.
They haven't dropped off, though. Hulu definitely has a plan. Disney has a plan for Hulu. And there is a lot of original programming coming for Hulu in 2020, so pay attention, including Marvel content.
Ooh, Marvel? I thought the Marvel content was going to be on Disney Plus.
The Marvel live action that's connected to Phase 4 will be on Disney Plus, but there's other Marvel content to be had.
Oh, like that show. What is it?
Yes,
What's that
like
one?
Howard the Duck, exactly.
Howard the Duck is going to be on Hulu?
There's talks that there might be an animated Howard the Duck coming to Hulu or something similar.
They need to get Jim Henson's Creature Workshop to make a really good Howard the Duck.
So
okay, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So then you take those streaming services aside, and then you started to have networks playing around. So we had CBS All Access that put out a new Star Trek series only through CBS All Access.
I forgot to mention Star Trek Discovery.
Yes.
Forgive me for all the Gene Roddenberry heads out there.
And not to mention, coming in 2020, we have Picard, which I cannot wait for.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it looks better than anything. I agree.
The Picard show is going to be up there with The Mandalorian as my new craving.
And then when we get past CBS, now we've got Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus that have come out.
Oh gosh.
And in 2020 we'll have Peacock and HBO Max.
It's too much.
It's a lot. You're never going to be without something to watch. Ever.
And you can just kiss the old model of business goodbye. Network television, cable television. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm just watching the Titanic sink slowly, and it is like it was. The ship sank rather slowly.
But here's the thing, though: there's so many streaming services that we're paying for that eventually people are like, You're basically paying for cable again. You spend $150 a month over 14 streaming services. At some point, the model is going to shift in a different direction. I have a feeling, in my prediction, that some of these companies will start merging. I don't know which ones. I don't know who's going to pair up with who, but I think deals are going to have to be had. Disney's going to buy Universal and Warner Brothers, absolutely. And everything will just be Disney.
Wow.
No, that's not what I think. But like Peacock's Saved by the Bell series goes into production on January 9th. So we've got a new Saved by the Bell series.
Oh no.
Mark Paul Gosselaar will make appearances.
Really?
Mario Lopez is a main character, and there's like 3 from the original series that are main characters, and everyone else is committed to 1 or 2 episodes.
I don't know. Okay.
Television news programs are doing than Saved by the Bell.
Yes, absolutely.
It does indeed. Mario Lopez trying to get a job, and the job that he gets is going back to Saved by the Bell.
But with that said, so Disney Plus came out with a bunch of like little series that were like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes long. You know, there's a bunch of shorts and Disney Family Sundays and things like that feature a lot of my friends that are Instagrammers, ironically. And it's very fascinating to see my friends like Abby on TV, which is great. I'm so happy for everyone. But then they've got like one true series, and I'm not discounting High School Musical, the series, because I am a huge High School Musical fan. I'm a huge musical fan in general, but The Mandalorian, The Mandalorian made me a Star Wars fan. I was a casual Star Wars goer.
Rather tepid?
For the last 37 years.
Really kind of lukewarm to Star Wars in general.
Yes. And literally, this is something I love now. Like, I am all in. I can't get enough of The Mandalorian. And it's not just because of Baby Yoda, although that is the cutest thing I have ever seen.
Yes, ever.
But, like, Jon Favreau did an amazing job with this. And have you been paying attention to the directors? The last episode was Taika Waititi.
Yep.
You had Bryce Dallas Howard direct one. Like, they're pulling out all the stops.
A couple of the episodes were actually directed by the animated series director, Dave, what's his last name?
Filoni, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it? Yeah.
Filoni.
He directed, this is the guy who made one of the many directors and people who made Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and Star Wars Rebels, such intrinsic and wonderful, wonderful parts of the overall Star Wars lore. Before we run out of time, we should do our personal top 10 list.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Are you not prepared? Do you want to do it?
I can tell you the things that I liked about this year.
I can do it. My top 10 list of, let's do movies, all right?
Of 2019 or
yes,
of the decade?
2019.
Okay, fine.
All right, my top 10 movies of the year. Since everybody online, right? You guys were asking what are our top 10 films of the year. Okay, I've got to say, I really, really, really loved Spider-Man.
Far From Home? Is that the one that just came out? The one in July?
No. Well, actually, last year...
Into the Spider-Verse? Is that what you were thinking?
Into the Spider-Verse is not a 2019 release.
No, it came out
Sorry.
last year.
It won the Oscar in 2019, and it's still very fresh in my mind. But, okay, in terms of Marvel...
Avengers Endgame.
Avengers Endgame was...
one of my top 10,
It was a magnificent achievement. Avengers Endgame. I loved Bong Joon-ho, his film Parasite.
I just got a screener of that in the mail. I have not watched it yet.
I love Okja. If you want to see my favorite, everyone loves Snowpiercer.
Right, I know.
Of course, we all love Snowpiercer. But yeah, okay, I loved Parasite. I loved The Lighthouse. The stop motion animation that came from Laika Studios regarding The Abominable Snowman, it was Missing Link. Now, there were 2 animated films this year. One was from DreamWorks Animation, that was CG animation, and it was called Abominable. Not to be confused with the handmade and handcrafted...
There was way more than 2 animations this year.
Yeah, I mean, about having to do with Yeti.
Okay.
Having to do with Yeti and Abominable Snowmen. There were 2 animated feature films that had the same exact subject. So not to be confused. I loved Missing Link, Parasite, Avengers Endgame, The Lighthouse. All right, we're moving down the list. There was also... a big space in my heart for Rocket Man. That was great. I loved.
It makes me so happy that it's in your top 10.
Rocket Man. Oh, easily. It was so fun.
Rocket Man saved my life this year, and if you want to know this story, please send me a message on social media. I'll be happy to tell you.
It was a terrific accomplishment. It was. I'll give you that. And give Taron Egerton all the props.
All of the things, which I am starting 2020 by going to a special Rocket Man presentation with Sir Elton John and Taron Egerton and Bernie Taupin.
No
way. That's how I'm starting my year, and I'm beyond excited.
Oh, that sounds so good. That's really cool.
So that's your top 5 so far. Let me try to do my top 5.
Okay, I can stick a few more.
No. You will. Let me just
do your top 5.
Yeah. So Rocket Man, number 1, absolutely. Avengers Endgame, number 2. I don't really have an order for everything else, but I'll just start naming things that I saw this year that I really liked. I actually really enjoyed the Detective Pikachu movie.
That was
I'm not saying it's my number 3, but
it was cute.
But I was very surprised by that film.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to be as fun as it was. That was
really
great.
Fun. All right.
I really liked Toy Story 4,
yes,
and I'm
that was
not
good.
a big Toy Story fan of any kind. I'm not a big Pixar person of any kind. I'm a Disney person. I loved, and this shocked the heck out of me, Frozen 2.
Frozen
and I
2.
hated Frozen.
Frozen,
but I loved Frozen 2.
You did? I have to say the opposite. I like the first one, but not the second one for Frozen. Okay.
Interesting. Yeah,
okay.
I hated the first one and was very bitter about Frozen for a very long time. But it redeemed itself entirely for me in this new one.
Oh yeah.
So those are 5 films of so far of this year. I'll think of some more while you name your next 5.
Oh sure. I mean, hey, also I was really, really, really cool with Midsommar. I really enjoyed. I mean, I love Hereditary. That was his first film. But this director came out with his next horror film, but it was set in Sweden and had a lot to do with Swedish, what you'd call really off the beaten path Swedish rituals, like summertime rituals, and it got very ritual magic, weird, creepy, and I liked Midsommar a lot. Then there was The Kitchen. Everybody hated that movie, and I'll tell you, it was one of my favorite films of the year. The Kitchen, adapted from the DC Vertigo comic book series, with Elizabeth Moss, Tiffany Haddish, and what's her name? Melissa McCarthy. All right, I really forgive me for saying, but people are going to hate me forever for saying how much I enjoyed that film.
I won't hate you forever, Cliff.
People are going to be like, man, I went on Twitter and did a whole tirade defending The Kitchen while everybody else was dumping the film horribly. I liked it, but also Dr. Sleep was one of my favorite films of the year.
I didn't manage to go see that one, but I heard good things.
Knowing a lot of people in recovery and in Alcoholics Anonymous, knowing a lot of people, friends and family.
Like myself.
Yeah, who are redefining their lives and redefining their relationship with alcohol. Dr. Sleep manages to be not only an excellent sequel to the Stanley Kubrick The Shining, but it is one of Stephen King's most uplifting and I would say really reaffirming statements about the effectiveness of the Alcohol Anonymous program, the effectiveness of people supporting each other and dealing with this issue. And there it is. It's all in the middle of this.
That actually makes me want to see it more.
So good. And it has the best astral projection scene ever filmed. And one of my last favorite films of the year, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Thank you, Tarantino. Thank you, Tarantino.
I'm seeing that for the first time on Friday, actually in Cinerama format, which I'm really excited to see. They're showing it at the Dome on 70 millimeter film in the actual Cinerama format.
When?
Friday at noon. And Tarantino and Brad Pitt will be there as well.
Okay, what? All right, this Friday at noon. Okay, oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, now what's your next top 5 films of the year?
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Again, I don't know if I'd put these in my top 5. These are just things I'm thinking of that I very much enjoyed. But the Downton Abbey movie, really liked that film a lot. It was really good.
It looked good.
Yeah, and it's very rare when a series makes a film that I enjoy that much. Yeah. But that it was phenomenal. I would see it over and over and over again. That was great. I had another one. It's gone from my head. But Judy just popped into my head.
Yeah, hello. Hey. Big shout out. Judy was phenomenal. All right, we're doing all the musicals like Rocket Man and Judy.
I like biopics. I like musicals. I have a thing. I like comedies. That's it. The other one was Knives Out. I loved Knives Out.
I have to say, I agree. Knives Out was a fantastic surprise.
Yes, it was. It was a fantastic surprise. It's the perfect description.
Yes. So don't spoil nothing, but Knives Out, I think, is actually up there with Best Picture of the Year nominees. It's going to be there with the other Best Picture of the Year nominees. Now, here, let's narrow it down to the super geeky.
Honorable mention, the Ghostbusters second trailer.
The trailer for the next Ghostbusters movie is in your top 10.
That's awesome.
All right.
So Ryan Johnson might mess up a Star Wars movie, according to JC and everybody else around here.
But he did a great job writing.
Damn good mystery thriller.
Yeah. and Chris Evans was in it, which was a pleasant treat to see him outside of the Captain America role.
Hey, I don't have any problems with The Last Jedi. You know what we need to do? We've never talked about.
Do we need to talk about Rise of Skywalker?
We never talked about The Rise of Skywalker, and I will only say this.
Happy to talk about it.
It looked to me like J.J. Abrams and his team were in the writer's room, and they took all the index cards off of the bulletin board, tossed them in the air, let them fall on the ground, and they said, okay, that's our movie. That's how we're going to do it.
And literally however they fell is how they filmed it.
That is how it seemed.
That's funny.
I don't know. I'm crazy, but...
No,
I don't know.
It felt that way. It was just really messy in the beginning, especially. The end got better, but the beginning was all over the place.
Yeah.
For everything I loved about the movie, there was something I hated. So I'm just right in the middle of.
So, hot take.
You want to come into the shot, Jason?
In episode 3.
Come in the shot.
In episode 3, Darth Vader wanted what? What set Anakin Skywalker down
You're
to the
asking
dark
me.
side?
That's.
In episode 3, he wanted to save Padme's life. That's all.
He wanted to learn the skill to keep people from dying.
Because of Padme only. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Who in the sequel trilogy idolized Darth Vader?
Kylo Ren.
And ultimately, when Kylo Ren turned to the good side, he gained the ability to do what? Keep people from dying. Okay. By turning good, he gained the ability that his idol lost by turning bad. Closes the book.
So let me say this about Rise of Skywalker.
That poetically brings it full circle, doesn't it? Very poetic. Okay.
Let me say this about Rise of Skywalker. I came out of it with a weird taste in my mouth. And I'm very much still in the middle. I lean on the positive. I give it a 5.6 out of 10. Like, I lean towards the more positive. But like I said, for everything I liked, there was something I hated. And I was just... it took me multiple days of processing to even just like get through some of the stuff that happened. And I came to Scum and Villainy one day and I talked to JC about why he loved the movie. And JC explaining deep poetic symbols within this movie and things I never would have seen as a casual fan made me appreciate Rise of Skywalker a lot more. Like even the imagery of when Anakin is losing his hand, it's lava, and you see that. And then when Ben is going through his crisis in Rise of Skywalker, it's water, and just the contrast of the visuals and stuff. And he made me appreciate Rise of Skywalker a lot more.
That's super cool. I dig that. You know what? Before I finish my top 10 of the year, I have to add Joker. That is also in my top 10. Maybe I only mentioned 9 movies. Okay.
I feel like you mentioned 11 or 12, actually. I think you're good. I named about 8. That's fine.
What's that? No, seriously. What did you... Now, these were the biggest films of our geek year. Avengers Endgame, Joker, Rise of Skywalker. These were the biggest geek events of the year. And then...
I mean, Captain Marvel came out, Aladdin came out, Lion King came out. There was a lot of like movies we could put into a geek category, but none of them were huge.
That live-action Lion King was what?
I'm sorry, Jon Favreau. I'm sorry.
All right.
But you redeemed yourself with The Mandalorian,
yes,
so
yes,
it's okay.
Yes. But it has a really fantastic year. And to all of the fabulous people who are part of our audience, part of the Ringer community worldwide, thank you. To all of our friends over there in Wales and Scotland and England, Happy New Year. Very, very happy New Year.
Italy and New Zealand and Australia, everybody where it's already 2020 that's watching, thank you for spending your New Year's Eve with us. And it's so great to be part of this community. And
do you want to do a joke at the end? At the end of our show? We want to do a
joke.
But
I mean, JC's not even at the controls to end it yet, so we've got time.
Before we wrap up, JC, we're going to do a really funny joke. All right, microphone's off. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have a private conference with Chelsea right now. Okay, hold on.
I don't really know it.
You don't want to do it? Okay. All right.
No,
okay. Okay, ready? At the end of the show, we'll do that. Okay, we're gonna do this because I'm gonna do it all year long. You don't have to do this, but I want to do this all year long because we can. It's 2020.
Well, but before we end the show, just a quick note because we started a little late. To be fair,
we did just a few minutes late.
What are you most looking forward to in 2020?
More news from Netflix and Amazon. That's all I want. I want more news from Netflix that they're going to bring. Second season for The Dark Crystal, The Age of Resistance. And the news that we want from Amazon Studios is, well, not just look at this lovely actress, she's going to be your, Galadriel and all that stuff. I want news from Amazon Studios that they're coming here. Jennifer Salke is going to sit down here and talk with us. We're going to interview all the top brass at Amazon, talk about what they're excited about, what kind of energy they have, and it'll be really uplifting, and it's a good place to start in the new year to have us, the fan community, get to learn more about the creative people who are behind the scenes. How about Patrick McKay and his writing buddy? Let's get those head writers coming in here. We could talk about...
So you're looking forward to possible interviews in 2020?
It's going to be a big big year.
All
you
right,
know what,
all right.
Mr.
Do you want to know what I'm looking forward to in
J.A.
2020?
Bayona? Hey, Mr. Bayona, come here. Join us. Sit in the hot seat. We will interview you. Oh, my God. I love you. All right. What about you? What do you look forward to?
The two most pressing things on my mind are one,
Hmm.
Avengers Campus opening at Disneyland. I
Who?
cannot wait for the Marvel Land. I'm so excited. And that's opening summer of 2020.
You mean they've got space in the park to still build more stuff?
They closed all of Bugs Life, the Bugs Life Land that was
Yeah,
there a while ago, and that entire area is going to become Marvel.
I thought that the Bugs Life Land became incorporated into Cars Land.
Nope, it was separated.
Really? Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, so they're using that space for like a Marvel Land, and that the first phase of it, because Marvel always has phases, will open in summer of 2020. But also, brand new season of Outlander starting in February. I can't wait for Outlander. This entire year we have been in a droughtlander.
Outlander fan,
Yes.
Outlander fan.
So I'm really excited for that. Maybe we'll get more Billy Boyd in it. Maybe, I don't know. He was in the last season. He didn't die. It's possible.
More Billy Boyd is always better.
Always a good thing.
Always
We should
better.
have Billy and Dom on the show in 2020.
Yes. Dominic has to come and talk about his experiences working with J.J. Abrams
And the
on
Rise of
Skywalker, and the latent controversy that is swirling around Dominic replacing Kelly Marie Tran for some of her lines of dialogue. We need to talk about this.
As far as I remember, Dom had one line of dialogue. As far as I can remember.
He had two. He
Oh,
actually. He
I'm
said,
sorry. He
said-
replaced 2 lines of
he's
dialogue
like,
for Kelly.
Come on, buddy, we need you. Was one line,
my God.
and then he had another line where he talked about Sith and their evil cloning practices. So there's a little bit of exposition coming out of Dom.
Oh,
on the side.
online we've got people saying they're excited for the new Ghostbusters movie. Also, don't forget that this Friday, right? Friday is Tolkien's birthday.
We're going to talk about that as the very final thing before we do our big joke.
Okay, all right.
January 3rd is right around the corner, and everybody knows, if you're a fan of J.R.R. Tolkien, that we celebrate the professor's birthday.
Woot woot.
We're with your friends on January 3rd at 9 o'clock at night, wherever you are.
We
with
have
your,
a toast everywhere.
with your
around
friends.
the world.
If you're at the pub, if you're at home, at 9 o'clock we raise our glasses and we say, "To the professor." Clink. So that's coming up January 3rd.
Yes.
Everybody, gather all of your loved ones and all your friends and go to the British pub that's in your neighborhood. We've got a couple of them here.
Quite a few. We're very lucky.
We're going to be if you're here in Southern California, join us at the Cat and Fiddle down on Highland.
Yes.
They moved down to Highland Avenue near Melrose, right?
Yes, they did.
Yep, come and join us on
And
January
I'm so
3rd.
glad that they moved instead of just closing, because I was very sad when they were closing from their Sunset location.
Yes.
But
All
Cat
right.
and Fiddle's a great pub. Also, one thing that I'm nervously excited for in 2020, the beginning of Phase 4 of Marvel content. I'm not sure how I feel about the Phase 4 content yet. I'm a little nervous going into it, but we get Black Widow as our first step into it in May.
Yep.
See how it goes.
I'm totally down for Black Widow and for anything else that Marvel gives us because it means more Doctor Strange. Yes. Can't wait for more
All
Doctor
the Benedict
Stephen Strange.
Cumberbatch, all of it.
All about
All
the
the time.
Cumberbatch. Am I?
I would take more Sherlock. They should make more Sherlock with him and Martin Freeman. I would watch that in a heartbeat.
I'm so down. I'm
Right?
totally down for more Sherlock. Okay, you guys are fantastic. You have been so wonderful. Mr. JC, I think we're ready to close the
things up.
stream and wrap things up.
Wherever he went. We'll just
Yes,
keep
sir.
talking until he appears.
Will
Oh,
you
there he
count? Will
is.
you count us down? We have a closing. Are you ready?
Sure.
She's like, Chelsea's like, wait. You, no, wait. We have a closing. All right. We love you. Join us next week live from Scum and Villainy. Torn Tuesday will be here live
Also,
at 5 p.m.
Also, make sure that you follow theonering.net everywhere on socials. You can find Cliff at QuickBeam2000. You can find me at Uncool Rockstar.
Uncool Rockstar.
Or follow my nerdy account, Sprinkled by Magic, and
Yes.
follow my nerdy escapades. And
Yes.
other than that, I'm Barbara Walters.
And I'm Hugh Downs. And this is
Is
2020. We did it. Oh, see, it wasn't that painful, was it? Okay,
Ay,
good night,
ay, ay.
everyone. We're signing off.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.